Hello, world! It's Amy Calandrino, and I'm coming back to you with another episode of the Performance Mindset Show. I am an Orlando commercial real estate broker and author of the book From Perfect to Real. This show is all about leveling up in business, real estate, leadership, and life by shifting how you think, grow, and lead. So each week, I'm going to bring you real conversations with top performers and mindset experts who are building big lives on their own terms. If you're ready to ditch perfection, trust your path, and grow with intention, you are in the right place. So be sure to subscribe and let's get into it. Today, we have with me my friend Jeff Thompson. He's been in commercial real estate for nearly 15 years, working his way through just about any role you can imagine, from maintenance man to accountant to leasing broker to director of ops. And now he is VP of asset management for a portfolio of nearly 50 industrial assets and totaling about 6.5 million square feet across the United States. Over his career, he's touched retail, industrial, multifamily, office, all with one consistent goal: adding as much value as possible for the investors he represents. Outside of spreadsheets and site visits, Jeff is passionate about two things above all else: commercial real estate and family. He's been married for 13 years and is a proud dad of two. He's carved out a voice on Twitter, also known as X, where he shares insights from the asset side of the business and builds relationships in an industry that's often very closed off. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Amy. So glad to be here. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Thanks for the intro.
It's always fun too when we can see each other. So some people might be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or other places, but those who get to see it in YouTube will know we're on video and we are looking at each other, and we maybe only, like at the real estate gala and some other opportunities, we actually get to see each other. Most of the time, we're just speaking into a space late at night put on by one of our friends.
Exactly.
That is sometimes focused, some not focused, mostly not focused conversations.
Depends on what time of the day it is, how late into the evening we're going.
Or the day of the week. I feel
that
like
is true.
Monday, 9 p.m. Twitter space is different than an 11:30 p.m. Friday night Twitter space. So you have a wide-ranging path in commercial real estate. And when you look back, what do you think prepared you for the seat you're in today? And kind of talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a ton of different experience, as you said, in that great intro there. Getting a lot of different experience, both on the ground. I was doing property management and operations, and then stepped into, a brokerage role. Getting that diverse set of experience, it to me is like the perfect setup for asset management, because this role specifically, you are the master of everything but the master of none, and you touch every aspect of these properties, from the operations to the leasing to the financing to the accounting, et cetera, et cetera. So having been able to do that in the early parts of my career has allowed me to really have a different viewpoint as we manage a portfolio of this size.
Well, it's interesting. I'm thinking to myself as you're speaking about that, is it's hard to run the machine if you don't know how the machine works. So it's interesting is I come from more of a legal background before I came to brokerage, and understand how those different aspects work together to make a deal, which I think gives me a more holistic view and helps me to also pick the right attorneys that are more deal makers rather than deal blower uppers and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's interesting that you know how everything works to know whether it's working or not.
Yeah, exactly. And find areas to be able to add value, like you said earlier. But also having a real thirst for knowledge and an open mind to learn, because we're constantly faced with new challenges every day when you're operating, portfolios, um, and we don't know everything. So learning and taking that away and then being able to apply it, going forward. Whether that's on like the financing side, let's call it. I'm not a financing expert, but we just went through a big financing at Agellan this year, and that was a big process. But you learn a lot, and we got through it. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is like I think one reason why I love commercial real estate is I feel like I'll always be learning. Every deal is different, every transaction is different, every property is different. There's different personalities you're working with on a typical deal, no less than like a half dozen people. You got like a listing broker, you got a buying broker, buyer broker, sometimes there's leasing brokers, you got property managers and all of these cast of like characters. I think it makes it so interesting and multifaceted.
I think that's one of the things that really drew me to real estate and
Mhm.
frankly asset management, um, early on, is that it gives you the ability to experience all aspects of the business. So you're not, kind of down your leasing lane, you're down your ops lane. Um, you get to see it all. And frankly, I think it asset management um, sets you up to be a really good, well-rounded real estate person. And I've seen,
Sure.
over the course of my career, a number of asset management guys, especially at like larger firms, step up into C-level roles, CEO, COO, after they've come through this stream because they just have such a good grasp on the business and the assets themselves.
Well, yeah, again, I think it's just like it's a much more like holistic view. Like
Yeah.
you understand it, you understand it works, what it needs, how to like add value, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and kind of go from there. You manage assets, for a living, but then you're also have a public persona on Twitter. What led you or X? What led you to do that? And given most people in your role, I don't see a lot of asset managers there. What kind of encouraged you to kind of go out there and have a voice?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I've been on X since I think it was like 2009. My profile's been up there, and
Wow.
LinkedIn for many years. But for the vast majority of that time, like I wasn't really doing much with it. Just kind of looked at it for information and sports or entertainment, whatever. But about 3 years ago, I discovered an account called Strip Mall Guy, and because I was working in retail real estate, asset management at the time, I was like, wow, this guy's talking, about what I live and breathe every day. This is so cool. And then from that, I kind of started engaging more and seeing other accounts that were putting interesting stuff out there that was relevant to me as a not just a real estate person, but an asset manager even. Um, and then I started, posting and engaging, and realized how powerful of a platform it is. And I'm
Hmm.
speaking about X, in terms of, the networking ability, connecting you with other people across, your markets that you work in, and frankly, the globe, and also as a source of information, which, as we all know, if you're in the business, information is critical to making good decisions and success. Um, so I didn't see many people kind of in my seat as like an asset manager.
Right.
There's tons of people that like own properties that talk
Right.
about it, and lots of developers and
Syndicate,
brokers.
investors, brokers. There's a lot of us.
So which is good for me, because I like meeting those people. It's beneficial for
Yeah.
me. So I started to share more about what it's like to be a landlord. Um, and that's sort of where the Confessions of a Landlord came from, which is something
Hmm.
that I lean into on there. Um, just to give you an example, the power of X, at least how I use it, I can, let's say, I'm going to a new market to visit some of my properties. I can put a post out and say, I'm heading to Chicago in a few weeks. I'd love to meet some new people, some brokers in the market. And within 24, 48 hours, I can have 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings set up with players in the market doing deals, and really be able to get information quickly and fast and build the network
Yeah,
that you need to asset manage it effectively.
that's amazing. Like, and like, what's so interesting too, who's someone that you've met online in real person, maybe not at the real estate gala, but like you traveled into a city that you didn't like maybe imagine like meeting just from like putting something out there on Twitter?
I don't know. I've met a lot of people in Texas. Um, Brandon Avdikian is one in particular. I've met him a couple times now. We talk not infrequently. Brandon, left a big shop and started his own brokerage a few years ago, and is taking a different spin on brokerage in terms of
Yeah.
really fully embracing social media and creating content specifically for social media. And I've met him a couple times. He's a great guy, and that would never have happened without X.
Yeah, I've gotten to spend some time with him as well. I got to go like do hunting. We both like bit the head off quails.
The guns and grits.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that looked like a fun event.
That would have never happened. Could you imagine me like going like quail hunting like otherwise? And normally I'm putting my Minnie Mouse ears on here, like in Orlando, and doing, or running to the beach or that kind of thing. Going to some random hunting club in Georgia is not like always like on well, and I'm not gonna say random. Actually, it's a very, very nice like hunting club, but
I'm
is
sure.
don't necessarily like imagine that like happening. So you've gotten to go also from getting to meet Strip Mall Guy. How many real estate galas have you gone to? Because like those are like, in real estate may know that he puts on an annual gala. Were you at the first one or just like the last two?
Yeah, so I was able to attend just two now. So
Okay.
last year and this year, was able to go to the gala, but such an incredible experience. Don and Bob, Don Tetman, who's Strip Mall Guy, and Bob Knackle, they co-host the event. They really should be commended for what they've been able to do
Yeah.
over the last 3 years and sort of what it's become, like the stunning venue and just the ability to bring so many high achievers, let's call it,
Mhm.
into one room, for just like a positive, real positive vibe. Everyone's getting along, sharing experiences, because this wouldn't have happened without social media. So whether you know somebody or not online, um, I found like there was always something you could talk to, no matter what direction you turned, at those events. Definitely a bit of imposter syndrome when I was in there. I was like, this little guy from Canada is coming down to the Big Apple to hang with the big boys. But
Crossing the
everyone's just so
border to
friendly.
come on over. Did you
Yeah,
fly in or did you?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
How many hours? That's just like a 1 hour flight, probably, or
Yeah,
something.
it's
It's not
short. It's like
far.
an hour. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's really easy, and thankfully I had some other business to do in the city as well. So it was two birds with one stone. But
Oh my gosh. Like going in and out of New York City, like if you had told me like 5 years ago that I would like have contacts there and like it would have something to do with what like I'm doing like here in Orlando or like some tie there or I'm meeting these relationships that are really like helping me grow. I would have told you that you were like out of your mind like 5 years ago. Like simply put, I would never have imagined myself on the 101st floor
no,
going to that. It's like a surreal experience. I also from that have like a client, like a legitimate client that we've done like tours in Orlando for.
Wow. Wow.
That's insane, right?
That's
And like,
great.
and the thing, I'm like on a texting basis with people, like respectful, of course, because like these people are busy. But yeah, I would say like I struggle that with that though, like imposter syndrome. It's like because I feel like I mean, I don't have as many followers as other people or, that, but then you can't ever compare yourself to other people. I have to remind myself because where I'm at in my journey, like I think we're both about 15 years into commercial real estate. I think
Yeah.
I gathered, and you can't compare that to someone who's been in it like 4 decades or someone who's maybe in a different role and maybe had a different like strategy to get out there. I think you just have to like look at like overall if it's working for you and it's bringing you happiness and enjoy. I think that's one thing people need to look at with social media is like, is it sucking the life out of you or is it bringing you life? And like, look at that.
Yeah. It's a great point. And are you, especially if you're paying for X, or if you're paying for the LinkedIn premium, or what have you, there's a cost, not only from a time perspective but a money perspective, and you got to make sure you're getting something out of it, and it can be draining. It is a lot to sort of keep up with, but I think coming to the realization that, like, there's always going to be people who are doing more content or better content or engaging more. You just got to do you. You got to find your voice, and that takes time to find. But just do it. Put yourself out there, and start meeting people and engaging, and do it on your own terms, right?
Well, I think that's one of the most important lessons in social media, at least of different days, is that there's been this shift in marketing. There's been this like shift in, that you got to put out this corporate speak and you got to be like a certain way and you got to be super prim and proper and you got to like look and talk the way that people think you should talk, like, right? But nowadays in social media, you really want to be exactly who you are. Because the last thing you want to do is like you walk into the gala and I meet you and I'm like, you're nothing like what like I'm meeting like online. So like, why be someone that you're not?
Yeah, I think people crave and are drawn to authenticity.
Yeah.
People these days, there's so much fluff out there that they can smell the, let's call it, BS a mile
Mhm.
away, if you're not being true to yourself. Um, you also have to be careful a bit, though, right? You have to think about what you're putting out there, and how you're putting it out there, and not cross too many lines.
Don't be inflammatory.
No, no.
Yeah, I know. I had a post I was going to do today and I knew that it would be like super inflammatory and like light a fire up. And I decided I just texted it to a friend and they expanded on what it could be even more. I'll put it out there. I'm actually getting an au pair now, as I need some extra like help with my kids.
I
And
understand that.
so I joked about I should put a post on Twitter and it says checklist for hiring an au pair. Add her to the country club account. Get her a credit card. Get her all these things. Like
You
have
should
her
do it.
go to all the games and sit in for you and like this whole list of things. And then what's going to happen. They're going to be like, you privileged woman, da 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 da, hiring this au pair and like being this whole like hoity toity like thing and da 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 da. But I work really hard. As soon as I could afford like help around the house, I did that because like I hate like cleaning the house. And then the fact of the matter is I want to spend my weekends going to Disney with my kids, taking them to the beach. I love traveling with them. I want to spend like this quality time with them. Is why I get it. But I know from posting about things like that before that I tend to get attacked. And then that just takes the focus off of what I do, which is help small and medium-sized businesses as well as families in Orlando build wealth. So
Yeah, and
You don't need
it comes. And I totally understand that. It's like, I have a few different stage gates for when I'm posting, commenting, doing anything, and I think about, and the first one kind of came from Strip Mall Guy. It's kind of like, how can I add value? Is this
Ah,
adding value? Um,
yep.
the second is like, if I put this out there, am I comfortable with my CEO or owner or boss, whoever, reading this? Would I be comfortable saying
Mhm.
this to them? And then, of course, would same lens, but like my better half, would she be comfortable, reading this or seeing this? And if it can kind of, add value, and I'm comfortable with those people seeing it, then I
Mhm.
put it out there. Um, you can learn your lesson pretty quickly. With posting, if you don't kind of think things through, it's easy to get sucked into some of the trolls, and even the political nature of some of these platforms.
Oh yeah, I stay away from posting anything about that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and especially someone who, like myself, who manages cross-border assets. Staying away from that and just not getting involved. Is really the best course of action.
It's like stay away.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, it was interesting. I had another Canadian on my podcast earlier this year, and it was like the whole week that the tariffs went down earlier this year, like when it first came into play, and it was almost like Canada and America were like at odds for like a week or two. And so it was like, but just the thing is though, these political matters, these market matters, oftentimes are very cyclical and they're
yeah,
fleeting. And if you have a very like concrete like opinion that you put out there, the thing is you're making a forever comment and a forever opinion that is never going to disappear from the internet whatsoever on something that is fleeting.
yeah,
Think
yeah.
about that.
A
Like,
100%, a hundred
yeah,
percent, and the I think I have an interesting perspective
yeah,
on, because I am Canadian, but I spend a lot of my days speaking with and interacting and dealing with Americans,
yeah,
and that's not everyone here in Canada has that opportunity.
right.
They're driven by the news cycle and what they're seeing online and the news clips. But I deal with so many wonderful Americans who are hardworking, friendly, thoughtful, and just all around like great people to interact with, to work with. So when I interact with Canadians who are upset with how things are going, I try and bring some perspective to say, it's a huge country. There is so many great people there, doing great business, and don't get sucked into the short term view that is being presented through some of the leaders that are out there right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an opportunity to collaborate on a session at CREI. It was Mind Over Media. And it was all about, dealing with like drama and dealing with these different things. But I cannot stress it enough is like, yeah, um, being super opinionated about something that's inflammatory and especially something that's fleeting is just not a good strategy, at least for me. And
It
what
doesn't
my
add it doesn't add value to you.
It does not add value. It
That's what
makes
I'm all
you
about.
yeah. I love that. No, I've thought about that too. And I think Ken Ashley has like four corners that he works for. And one of the four corners of his strategy is adding value, or is it just general, like really good positive news? So sometimes something may not like add value, but like it's something really cool and really positive. Like he wants to like share. So I think that's great. Um, What's one thing that people misunderstand about asset man? No, I'm saying about. I'm from Vermont originally, and if I spend too much time in Vermont or across the border, I start doing the aboots. So, what do people misunderstand about asset management? Yeah.
I think the biggest misconception about asset management is that, we spend our days, sitting behind a computer, working in Excel, doing analysis, writing reports, and in the boardrooms. And, obviously that comes with the territory, but like the
Right.
most successful asset managers that I know, spend probably more time out of the office than they do in the office. So on the ground, touring their properties, touring their markets, going to networking events,
Mm-hmm.
meeting with brokers, meeting with property managers, and most importantly, meeting with tenants.
Yeah.
So I think, getting out and doing those things, most people don't really see that as asset management, sort of on first glance. But it's so important. Like I had a property when I was at RioCan, which is one of Canada's largest REITs, primarily in retail, that we were repositioning. The mall was losing money. The tenants, there wasn't enough tenancy to make it profitable, so we came up with a plan to relocate and terminate some of the tenants, and then demolish part of the mall, rebuild some, and reset the assets so it could be profitable again. And when it came time to actually like go and deliver some of those termination notices to the tenants, I said, I want to go. I want to be there. I want to go and speak with the tenants. And the property manager just like looks at me like, what? Like, why? Like asset managers don't do that. Like
Right.
you don't have to do that. Anyways, I went and did it, and you could really tell the appreciation from these sort of like smaller mom and pop businesses that we had, that someone from, quote unquote head office was there to talk to them about it and deliver the notice. Um, so that's just a little story about how you can make a difference being out in the field, as an asset manager.
Well, yeah, I can't tell you like how many like I do some tenant work, not to the same like extent. I've been a little bit more on the ownership side or occupiers that want to be owners. But when they get that like impersonal letter that, their rent's going up 40% or they're not going to be renewed, and it's just like dropped in the mail, no phone call, no nothing. It's just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
we sunk how many hundreds of thousands of dollars into this space? How many months in a row have we paid perfectly on time? And we get that like it's a business decision, but I think business can be, it is personal, and especially for like a mom and pop, it's like what they live and their breathe. Their business is like their kids' college fund. Their business is their retirement. Their business is their like everything. And so yes, there's circumstances that change and there's nothing that the property owner can do about it, but handling it in a personal way um, can mean all the difference.
It makes a huge difference. And, I've said it so many times over the years, like real estate, it's not a building business. It's not a finance business. It's a people business. And you can accomplish so much by approaching it that way. Don't send the email. Don't send the text. Pick up
Mhm.
the phone, call the broker, call the tenant, call whoever it is that you've got a problem with, and try and work through it. It's advice I give at least 3 or 4 times a week to people on my team and our brokers. I said, just call them, talk to them.
Yeah, I have news that should be public by the time that this like episode airs, and I had to deliver some news to folks like involved in one side of the process that that it wasn't going to work out there. And instead of hiding behind the phone, instead of hiding behind the email, I literally just like went to the office and delivered, the news. And because like that relationship meant so much to me, and you don't know what's going to happen to you later on. And it being like a 1 hour meeting to deliver like a no, this isn't going to work, for me conversation.
Yeah.
And it was, but the way they also like handled it, it just further cemented that it was really good that they were like top runners in my trajectory of going now. So yeah. which is really interesting. But like, yeah, don't hide behind the phone. If you have an opportunity to deliver something personally or get together personally, do that. Or at least, I would say the hierarchy of difficult conversations is have it in person. If you can't have it in person, have it like via Zoom, and
Yeah.
then have it via phone. I think that's just important. Yeah. And also I represent landlords too, that sometimes they all of a sudden get a letter from a big national like tenant and it's just like, we're not going to renew. We're going dark. And they have no phone number on the letter sent from some random person you can't find anywhere online. It's like, that's fun, isn't it?
So much fun. So much fun. We love
And,
those letters.
and like, you can't get a hold of them to get keys and you don't want to rekey it because it's the key. Oh, it's
Well,
so fun.
this is, Amy, this is exactly why in the last few years, like at Agellan, we've made a concerted effort. And this is not an Agellan sales pitch. This is just that a concept that I think is so important is like know your tenants, big, small,
Mhm.
or otherwise. I mean, big obviously more important, but like even if they have a long a long lease term and there's no renewal coming up or anything like that, get to know the real estate director or VP or
Mhm.
whoever it is. Get to know the ops guy. Get to know the store manager, warehouse manager, um, because when those letters come in or there's a problem on site, you know who to call. You actually have a person, and you have a relationship. Because everything's fine until it's not. And when there's
Yeah.
problems on site, um, you want to have that relationship so that you can work through it, and you're not sort of like getting to know you when there's a problem.
Yeah, well, and I think the personal relationship often will be beneficial too, that they want to honor and parrot the same kind of communication that you're having with them. And I think it differentiates that ownership from other ownership. And I think it's really beneficial. Yeah. Um, Thinking about commercial real estate today, which trends are you watching closely from the asset side? And so what's kind of keeping you up optimistically and maybe what kind of worries you? And then just always knowing financial disclaimer that we're not relying on this as any advice or da 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 da, all those legal things. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Look, I don't want to sort of like feed into the popular narrative here, but I think AI is definitely something that we're keeping a close eye on. There's a number of individuals that are on in my network that have really embraced the technology. I'd like to embrace it more on a personal level, but also
Yeah.
professionally in our business. I think it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how it changes the way we work, where we work, how we make things, how we do business, and obviously to see how it's going to impact commercial real estate. So far I'm extremely optimistic and encouraged by what I'm seeing in terms of the benefits it can
Yeah.
bring for productivity, for marketing, for data analysis, and stuff like that. So I'm pretty encouraged about that. As for what's keeping me up at night, you know, again, we not to go too political, but I think some of the global instabilities with trade
Yeah.
do concern me a little bit.
Yeah.
Has it impacted, our business? I would say not in any sort of major way. There has been a couple, deals or tenants that have talked to us about some of the impacts that it has had. But generally speaking, like our leasing velocity across the United States has continued very well this year.
Mhm.
We've done deals in almost every single market that we operate in at varying sizes, big, small, medium, and tenants and businesses are making decisions both to expand, to recommit to the markets that they're in. So so far so good.
Okay, and that's what I'm seeing is that leasing activity continues to be really strong here in my market, and I have not seen the impact of trade so much yet, but it's still something in the back of everyone's minds because sometimes it takes a little bit for the reverberations of that to show up. Like take for instance the global pandemic. We didn't realize as much as their problem until like supply chain then
Yeah.
shows up a while later, right? And then it increases the cost of like consumer goods, appliances, all those kinds of things because of that. One thing I see here in Orlando to a great degree is when that global pandemic shut down, like I drive and all of those touristy areas, and we saw like retail development pipeline slow down considerably, and you have that gap in time that's contributing to the sub 5% vacancy that we have here is because we had that gap. And so I think with the trade or with anything going on specifically, uh, as far as trends going on globally or nationally or even here locally, I think it takes sometimes to show up. And so it's something
100%.
to keep
100%.
an eye on. Yeah.
Yeah. And, some of the pandemic stuff was like, bam, it was a shock. It was instant. And then some of it was, delayed. With the tariffs and the trade talks, it's like, I feel like there's a lot of news cycle around it. And there's moments in time where it feels like, there's a lot happening, but as time goes by, we're sort of seeing that the impacts are seem to be quite delayed
Yeah.
with these things, which, at least in the short term is good. But we'll just, you got to keep an eye on it. Keep your ear to the ground. We're talking about, know your tenants. This is a great opportunity to keep in touch with your tenants, know your tenants, and ask how business is going. Are you seeing impacts? Ask these questions so you're prepared for maybe a default, maybe not, maybe an expansion.
Yeah.
It can work both ways.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to ask you one more question and then you can tell me if there's anything that we haven't covered. But if you had to pick 3 people in the retweet space who are people that people should follow and maybe they're not like famous or they're in the asset management wise and they want to, again, like doesn't have to be necessarily famous, who would you say?
So I mentioned one earlier, which is Brandon Avdikian. I think the information he puts out and the content he puts out are fantastic. He's a guy, an entrepreneur, growing his business in a space that I'm passionate about. So it's great to see what he's doing. Chad Griffiths, a fellow industrial guru, also Canadian. I would definitely recommend following
Oh yeah, he's
him.
great.
He's
big book promotions, if you have a sense of humor, would just crack you up.
It's so funny.
It's always cool when someone's like really super smart, but then really funny too. It's
exactly.
like it's a killer combination. Yeah.
And then I talked a little bit about AI, and there's 2 people that I wanna put out there. One is Topher Stevenson, who actually works with Brandon at Aspire, but also spends a lot of his time contributing and talking about what's happening in the AI space. So Topher and another guy, Jonathan Bucklew, if I said his name correctly, works at Peak Asset Management. They just started a new venture, an AI venture together, and Jonathan's actually an asset manager as well. He's bigger on LinkedIn, so you can find him there. But both just great people, very smart and doing really cool things on the AI side as well as real estate.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I like you slipping in a 4th there. Okay, well, awesome. I think this has been a great conversation. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about for a little bit? Or do you have any parting thoughts for us?
No. I mean, first off, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a blast and always good connecting with you. Um, I'd say for anyone sort of on the fence about getting involved on social media, I know it can be scary. Um, you may not, you may wonder, do people care what I say, or are people going to listen? The answer is yes, people care. People will listen.
Hmm.
It's like going to the gym, and you have to start flexing the muscle, and the first time's always the hardest, but once you get going, um, it'll make a huge difference, both to your career and to your network. And um, I just say get started, get going.
That's a great analogy. Is that, yeah, just doing it and just kind of running through the fire or whatever you want to call it, and doing it. Um, was once you get going, momentum's like a real thing. So
Totally. Yeah.
yeah. Well, what's the best way to people to reach out to you? Would it be Twitter or LinkedIn, or what's the best way for people to contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. Either of those platforms. You can always send me a note through the DMs. Happy to connect with anyone on those platforms.
Well, awesome. This has been great, and hopefully it won't be until next year when I see you. So we'll just see. Maybe you'll be back in sunny Orlando soon. Um,
Hopefully.
I just renewed the Disney passes, which is like a second mortgage. I'm just kidding. for
Almost.
for a year for my kids, it's quite fun. So we go about like once or twice a month to Disney for the day. So it's kind of
Amazing.
cool living down here. Yeah,
My kids would be jealous.
maybe just don't tell them that, because if they
I
ever meet
won't.
my kids, they're gonna like not like those. But it's good. No, it's. I said, we live here. We might as well do it, right? So, well, I want to tell all my listeners, thank you for listening to another episode of the Performance Mindset Show. If today's episode gave you something to think about, please share it and subscribe so you don't miss out on what's next. If you want to go deeper, grab my book, From Perfect to Real. It's all about dropping perfection and thriving your way. You can also connect with me at amycalandrino.com. Until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, and keep showing up for you.